Good night, fellow punters. The clock on the wall says 25 minutes of 10 o'clock on Monday night, the 25th of September. This is the last Monday in September. You can know the winter is coming in. The lights are on in the house and the heat are on in the house much earlier, particularly this week. Although it was a dry enough day, racing went ahead in Roscommon. It had only 2 millimetres overnight. I was talking to a couple of the staff members that were saying last night, them going to bed, they didn't think the racing would be on if there was any much overnight rate, but they were pleased that there wasn't. So racing went ahead. Went there in plenty of time. Nice enough crowd, and made a few pound. The handbrake was off Park of Kings, although prior to the race I heard that some people was told not to back it by people in the know, and some were saying, yeah, go ahead. I was actually beside Frank Berry watching the race. I didn't have the audacity or cheek to say to him, what position is the handbrake in? I felt like asking him, but he had the binoculars up and he was watching that horse I could see, as opposed to the other one of the same colours that was out in front. I was just, the way he was tilting his binoculars, he was following the one with the white cap. It won with plenty in hand. It'll go probably £10 for that. It'll win again too. I would say that since that they've started winning with it now, they'll probably continue to do the best they can with it. Rated 97. It was well handicapped. I backed the winner of the next race then as well. I backed 130 seater, turned 9-4 favourite on the strength of having been second to Granville Dream. And I just went against the favourite in the next race, a small bet on what they call it. And I had a touch on a horse that fell. I thought it was going best. And I couldn't see what happened. I didn't get a chance to look yet. Number 7 in the handicap chase. So it's just coming into it on the snaff. I thought it was going to win. I backed it at 9-2. Day won that race, David Christie's. Actually, their horse box broke down on the way down from the north, and Nurse Garvey, who was supposed to run in the second race, she wasn't there in time. They were trying to bring her home because it was local owners as well. There was a lot of them there. They were a bit disappointed they didn't get the run, although the ground would have been against it. But they probably got in for nothing anyway, or some of them did anyway, no. In England, not now, Linda went 1-2 in running. 2 bad jumps in the straight and probably a furlong or two too much forward. And the one in the last race, or the last horse, Wube, finished like a train, started slow, should have been worked up. On another given day, we'd have had 3 out of 3 by the winner in 2 seconds. So the nap went in anyway, so made a few pound. And hopefully we might continue that for the week. I like to get a winner on the Monday. It gives us a bit of momentum. So 3 for tomorrow. When I get out of the way. The 2:30 at Cork, it's soft to heavy in places. Run Forrest Run. Since it came from England to Michael Finton. It has ran very consistently, I think. It used to be with George Breaker, came over at 67, but the 3 runs, throughout the 3 runs last year, then start afresh this year. 3rd of 17 in the Curragh, 6 furlongs, soft to heavy. 7th of 23, 6 furlongs in the Curragh, heavy. Then went off second favourite that day. It was only beaten 3.5 lengths. Then at 1 in the Curragh at 8-1, won by a short head. Ran in Cork then, good ground and 7 furlongs, probably just not its ultimate trip. 6th in the Curragh then, good ground again. Yielding in Navan, and the last day it was a bit I think 7 furlongs in Listowel didn't suit it. But we'll have a quick look at its race in Navan to show you why it's on the very left, the very last horse. Keep an eye on that and where it finishes.
Siesta Beach showing in front
Still
of
last.
Hot Whispers Universally and Not Too Real Bad, and then Silver Nemo and California Gold Rush and Jazzy Dancer and Cholita next with Sir Sally Can Wait. Star Night pushed it along, then Jacoso Senado Square. Well, back is the top weight Cavallo, Pazzo and Run Forrest Run as they run to the final furlong and a half, and over on the far side Distillate hits the front. Siesta Beach on the outside of Step Back in Time, the Never Rock and Rat Brand Church, Art of Unity and Run Forrest Run runs on late. Step Back in Time in front as they go towards the line, repels them all to Step Back in Time, Rat Brand Church.
That was over 5. The furlong extra, it's a 6 furlong horse, and there'll be no sort of hard luck stories hopefully in Cork. It'll get a good run. There is a horse that came out of that race, is Esvedra. Charlie Well still had no winner as a trainer. There's the 3-year-old filly, it used to be with Willie McCreary. On the race that it had there in Navan, it was 3rd to the Snapper and 6th in the Curragh. There's a race in that at some point as well. But I'm with Run Forrest Run tomorrow. Better see what price is it. 11 to 2, 6 to 1. They're paying 5 places there. Each way play. Each way play. No, let us see. Oh yeah. The 525 there. I mentioned the last day about Zaffron. Didn't tip it, but I gave it a good shout until 2nd and looked all over a winner when it hit it's got a run up the rail. But it was badly positioned all through, but it's down. It went up a pound for that. It's rated, 58? But it was as high as, 84? Water finds its own level. It's only a 6-year-old. This was it in Listowel last week.
This year is
this
coming
was over
to press.
7. It's on
Nippers
the rail,
on the
in
rail,
the green
couple of
and
lengths
brown.
clear. Fading Rock Dandy running on as Racing Royalty with Zephron and Von Krollock is next. They're punching inside the final 200 yards. Listier just in front. Up the inside is Zephron with Nippers Rainbow. Racing Royalty, the near side, it's a wave of 4. Racing Royalty, Zephron, Listier.
Hopefully tomorrow will be the day that it might do the bizzo for Dennis Cullen. It's way down on the weights. It's a big old horse. The mile, I think, in Cork is suited better than 7 and a few yards in 4-1 favourite win bet. And there's one in Beverly. It was won 2 out of the last 3 years by a 3-year-old. There's 2 3-year-olds in it this year, isn't there? Urban Sprawl and Meta Horse, 2 of them. There's a horse there that I've been watching, but I'd be bet if this was a mile, I'd be sweeter on Zosimus. It used to be with Danica O'Brien, but Urban Sprawl. Now, the form figures there is like a phone number, rather than anything you'd be looking. But he's a 7 furlong sort of a specialist horse. And I always say, if you're 7 furlongs, you won't win at 6 or a mile. It won 3 times last year at 7 furlongs, and once this year in May. They put it up to a mile, and it had a few bad runs there. It was 9 of 9 and 6 of 6. Septic, actually. But better behind Roscommon. But they brought it over to a Premier Handicap in Leopardstown there, the 9th of September. And Johnson must have thought this is well handicapped to come over for a big prize like that, because he wouldn't waste the airfare. So I'm hoping that might do the business tomorrow on the strength of the 7 furlongs. Zosimus he needs a mile. He used to be with Donegal O'Brien, and he was mile 2 and 9 furlongs. And it was one pace enough the last, even though it stayed on at a mile in Haydock. But if you look back on it there, it was 10 furlongs several times, 8.5, 10.5, 9. I don't think it's a 7 furlong horse. Could be proved wrong tomorrow. I'd be on. Actually, Autumn Festival won this last year, of pretty much the same rating as a 3-year-old. But I'm going with the stats. Anyway, talking about stats. Here we look at the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, the winners since its inception in 1920. Wasn't it? 1920. There has been 7 5-year-olds won it in its lifetime. 1 7-year-old. A 7-year-old won it in 1932. Now, here is a stat that is not good for our baby Hookham. No 6-year-old has ever won. The first Irish winner was in 1958, wasn't it? 58, Ballymoss. Scobie Beasley with the great late Vincent O'Brien. He won it again with Lester Piggott on Alleged in 77 and 78. I think that was the first 2-time winner, wasn't it? But no 6-year-old has ever won it. 7-year-old, 5-year-old has won it 7 times, and 2 of the last 6 winners has been a 5-year-old. Alpinista last year and Wild Guys. So there is something that, well, history will have to be made. It'll be unreal. But there's 15 left in the declarations, or not declarations, 15 left after today, and there is 2 going to be supplemented. It looks like Continuous from Coolmore is going to be supplemented Wednesday, and they're on about Fantastic Light from the Boys in Blue, because the ground, they say, will be suited better. So we'll have a look at Hookham, a race an evening this week just to build up for Sunday. Here he is winning in the handicap as a 3-year-old.
Hookham won from the left, coming through the challenge, locked and loaded now. Here's Kipps in the purple jacket down the centre. Arthurian Fable in the pink colours is still there. Alexander is next. Hookham has drifted to the centre. Kipps in the purple colours coming after him. Group 1 Power in blue and white's running on strongly. Bodyline in orange from the back of the field flashing home. It's going to be between Hookham though and Kipps, and Hookham continues to be in front and wins. Kipps in second place, Group 1.
Boy, does he love a battle. But an Irish bred horse has ran 17 times in total. 11 wins and 3 places. And if you look at the 3 times he was unplaced, the 5th first time out was in the Ledger in 2021 to Galileo Chrome. Wasn't strong enough that time to stay the 1 mile 6. Its other defeat, he was defeated as well when he was behind Hamish on the Goo. But he was 7th in that was in the Golden Shaheen, wasn't it, in Medan. But any time he's ran at 12 furlongs has been very, very competitive. When he was 5th, 5th, he was 7th, and 4th. 4th, an inadequate trip first time out in 2021. I don't know. Everyone knows that since that race, that was the race that I said this is a bit of a warrior, and I like warrior horses. That's when I sort of got a liking for him first. And we'll have a look at a race, if we can, every evening this week. And we'll look at the last couple of then Thursday and Friday. So it'll be an early video on Friday because I'll be heading to Dublin. We're staying in Dublin on Friday night because we have a 5 to 7 flight on Saturday morning. So we'll talk about that. We'll do a video later. So anyway, it's Monday night, and what happens on a Monday night? We might sing a song. We'll try this one now. I'm not sure about the air and pieces, but we'll give it a go. Lovely leash, I hear you calling in my dreams. I hear you say, come back home to dear old Ireland. Lovely leash, I'll come back to you someday. 20 years ago, since I first sailed away, and left my dear old home so far behind. Since that lonely journey, my heart has always yearned, my happy home in Laois once more to find. Lovely Laois, I hear you calling in my dreams. I hear you say, come back home to dear old Ireland. Lovely Laois, I'll come back to you someday. The view from the Slieve Bloom, dreams I still can see, a beauty just as rare as you will find. See those scenes from childhood, once more I will return, and meet those folk so friendly and so kind. Lovely Laois, I hear you calling in my dreams. I hear you say, come back home to dear old Ireland. Lovely Laois, I'll come back to you someday. Bash the bookies, over and out.